Yeah. Here we are. What's up, Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Headquarters, and America's team? It's your guy G, the number one Cowboy fan, Hampton, and here we are on Monday Night Mic'd Up. Give it up. Now, y'all know I can't say that without my panelist, that my co-host that's on here with me. So let's give it up for our guys, the Clifford Torno and Football Junkie. Give it up. Football Junkie, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Taking it one day at a time, fellas, as we slowly approach to that appointed time of the year, football season.
Woo, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. And with that being said, we got the one and only the Clifford Torno. Give it up. Welcome to Monday Night Mic'd Up, Clifford. Boy, Clifford, we must be doing something right, Football Junkie. It's just great to have him here with us tonight. So thank you, Clifford, for hanging out with us. How you doing, brother?
Man, I always appreciate the invite. I really do, man. You guys are fantastic to sit in with, and I just appreciate the invite. But of course, it's a Monday. It's a Monday.
Yeah,
It's kind of been a
yeah.
little rough for you today, right, Cliff?
Oh, buddy, it's Murphy's Law times 10 today. Nothing has gone right except for this right here. This is fantastic. This gives me a little peace of mind. Takes that mind frame away from that, that outside energy that, we all got to endure to get that paycheck, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's, get- it's getting better right now.
Okay,
Oh,
that's great.
yeah.
Well, hey, again, man, I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. Like I say, man, I know you guys got things going on, but we're gonna get right into the topic for tonight. And as you can see, Dak has to provide more in 2025. I know it. I know it, y'all. And I want y'all to hear this. I got an article out there that's floating around, and we're gonna have to talk about it. So basically, there is a article out there by Clutch Points. The story is about Owen Crisafulli. I guess that's his name. But it says Cowboys Dak Prescott falls out of the top 10 of ESPN quarterback rankings after a $240 million contract. I'm just saying this is what was being reported. So what's being said is they're saying the post Cowboys Dak Prescott falls out of the top 10 of ESPN quarterback rank at $240 million contract. And the 2024 campaign he did not live up to his expectations for the Dallas Cowboys. Just a year after signing a massive 4-year, $240 million contract extension with the Cowboys, Prescott has seen himself fall out of the top 10 ESPN yearly quarterback ranking ahead of the 2025 campaign. Now, hold them up before y'all say anything. Let me finish this real quick. I don't know about this guy, Owen. Owen's kind of going in on Prescott. So he said Prescott struggled to start the season, throwing for 1,978 yards and 11 touchdowns in 8 games before suffering a season-ending hamstring injury. While his absent tanked Dallas season, they won just 3 of the 8 games he played in. Now, guys, is this should we expect more out of Dak? I mean, Football Junkie, we done paid the man $240. 240 million, well, not $240, $240 million. So is it correct to say Dak has to provide more in 2025?
On the contrary, I said, yeah, Dak has to prove more for 2025. In this upcoming season, yes, Dak had an injury in the 2024 season, of course. I consider a lot of this stuff shenanigans because I was listening to ESPN early this morning, late last night, and I was listening to Mia Kimes. I was listening to Isaiah Stanback. I also listened to Dan Orlovsky. We all know how big of a joke Dan Orlovsky can be about some of the things that he says concerning quarterback. Because if he's rating things according to what the quarterback plays off his quarterback play, they all better than he is. As for starters. As far as Dak being outside the top 10, I highly disagree with Dak being outside the top 10. A great deal. Top 5, yes. Top 10, no. Um, when you look at what I had happened to listen to something that Pickens had said too, also was read. Pickens had shared with Dak Prescott concerning how he performed way back when he was at Mississippi State with the type of receivers that he was connecting with, and all those guys were some good receivers. in the SEC, and they put up big numbers and they end up being the number one team in the nation at one point in time for I believe like a week or two, if that. And Pickens elaborated that with the combination of himself and CD Lamb, that they could pose a similarity, if not a greater threat than what Dak had when he was over there at Mississippi State, providing that the weapons perform up to their abilities and whatnot. And then I look at the situation of that, this is the best receiving core Dak Prescott has ever had when it comes to the number one and number two or number one slash number one receivers in the league. Uh, these guys are high performers, high volume yak receivers, big playmaking ability receivers. All of this in a bag of chips and dips. When you look at Pickens and you look at CD Lamb as them apart, one with us and one while Pickens with Pittsburgh, these guys perform. They ultimately perform. You got when you look at CD Lamb, he's one of the best, if not the best, yak receivers in the NFL currently today. And when you look at Pickens, his numbers do that. He has had a carousel of quarterbacks over the last 3 seasons. He still ultimately perform to a high level. It's just the lack of continuity and consistency at the quarterback position. So, will Dak have to bring more? Dak gonna do more because Dak he's highly enthused and he's highly motivated with what he's got to work with this season.
Give it up for football junkie. All right.
Love it,
Okay.
love it.
Okay. Okay. So, Cliff, now listen. Now, this guy is saying that because this guy is making $240 million, it's unheard of him falling out of the top 10. I mean, so is this legit to say? I mean, the way he's making it seems as if how do a $240 million quarterback fall out of the top 10? Or is this such a big deal? What do you think, brother?
I mean, I like to always say, when was he really in the top 10 according to most analysts, most fans, most, this, that, or the other? Has anyone ever said top 10 quarterback for Dak Prescott other than the 2 years that he came runner up to the MVP? And then they made excuses as to why he got runner up to the MVP. No
Yeah,
one will ever give a Dallas Cowboys quarterback credit for what he does on the field. There's always an excuse as to why he was good. There's always an excuse as to why he was bad. No one ever goes, "Oh yeah, he's absolutely a top 10." I mean, he got hurt last year.
yeah,
Automatically, he's out of the top 17 in most of these rankings coming out this year because he got hurt. Deshaun Watson didn't play for like 3 years, and when he came back to play for the Browns, they were like, "Oh, he's top five still."
yeah,
And then he had to have 2 bad years in a row before you're like, "Oh no, he's definitely not top five anymore." I mean, come on, it's a Cowboys quarterback. We never get the love. Our quarterbacks are always scrutinized to the utmost of everything. So no, I'm not worried about them saying Dak Prescott fell out of the top 10. Um, how are you judging your top 10 based off of last year? Sure, he got hurt
Mm,
game week 8, so no, he's not a top 10 quarterback from last year. But for me, you got to have 3 years, baby. 3 years of consistent numbers, and if
yeah.
you got 2 out of the 3 years where your numbers are, I mean,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
it's all right. I'm not scared of them saying Dak Prescott's not a top 10 quarterback, not a top 15 quarterback, or not a top 20 quarterback. The numbers show what they show, and we'll see what happens in, I don't know, what are we, 2 months away from it? Let's make
Basically.
it
Yeah.
happen.
basically.
Yeah. But
So I'm good with it. They can say what they want to say.
again, this is a new era of football that we're seeing. And and I said this, and somebody said I was wrong for saying this. In today's football, you're not, it's not even about the hardware anymore. It's about the numbers. These players are getting paid off the numbers, and we're seeing that
100%.
we're seeing that every day. So now, just because that got a $240 million contract, they say, "How in the world of $240 million fall out of the top 10?" I guarantee that the dime that's ahead of him, they probably don't even have a Super Bowl themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Can
So
we can Can we touch base on the fact that $5 million separates Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence?
Exactly.
$5
Okay.
million? $5 million separates Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott. Who you taking? Trevor Lawrence or Dak
That
Prescott? Dak
that
Prescott all day long. I mean, yeah, so I'm gonna give him 5 million more. Daniel Jones got paid, I think 45 million.
Yeah.
Joe
And
Burrow got paid 45 million. And that's his team's fault for paying him 45 million and not more. Right? It's not let's not act like I'm sorry, 55, not 45, 55. I apologize, guys.
55.
$5 million separation between Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, I believe, and Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Again,
I don't know what to tell you.
we're talking about Lawrence. And he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks. And then people was because I was ranting about, man, it's crazy that you don't have to win a Super Bowl anymore to get paid, and you don't. At one time back in the day, you won a Super Bowl, you got paid because of your performance and bringing home the hardware. That's not the case anymore. I mean, we're talking about Jared Goff. We can talk about Justin Hubert. I mean, they got him ranked in front of Dak. So again, you can miss me with saying because yeah, how do you pay a $240 million quarterback and he's not? Again, this is all their opinions, and who is ever's grading these quarterbacks. But again, it's not about because he doesn't have the hardware. It's about the stats. This is the reason they're getting paid. So again, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, so it's just it's just kind of mind boggling how people can put Dak and put the numbers and say he's getting paid all his money but he's not that good. If that makes sense, football junkie. I mean,
it's crazy because I also view that at this time, at this point in junction of Dak Prescott career, they had compared Dak to Big Ben, and all the way down the list of numbers, Dak has outperformed Big Ben. Only thing Dak hasn't done other than what Big Ben has done is won two Super Bowls. That's it.
right.
That's it. He's outperformed Big Ben tooth and nail. And it's crazy how they go about doing it. And I agree with you, you know what I'm saying? It's predicated all about numbers instead of off of hardware. When it should be everything should be continuously performance based. But still though, if you're not getting our team into the playoffs or in contentions of a Super Bowl, what are you doing it for? That's why a lot of these guys at quarterback these organizations is in quarterback carousels because they looking for that prime quarterback that can get them over the hump or get them into contention to be able to compete so they can be able to add pieces either offensive or defensively or special teams to get them to the big show. Everybody wants to be in the big dance organization wise, theoretically, but do you really want to be in the big dance? Do you?
That's so true. That's so true. And and again, with the title, it says Dak has to provide more. And yeah, I think he does. I think he does. I think he has to bring more to the table if he's healthy. But it's not fair to try to compare last year when he got injured and say
No.
he had a bad season. You
So
can't do that. Go ahead, Cliff.
let me ask you this. I mean, does he have to prepare more, or is it the fact that our team needs to bring more to the table in the playoffs with a running game or a
Yeah.
defensive stop running game? The
Yeah.
numbers that he puts up can win a Super Bowl. Let's again, 5 losses in a playoff game. 2 of those games are solely on Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
I give it
Right.
to him.
yeah,
2 of those games are solely on our defense. One of those
Yeah.
games I put solely on our coaching, right? And you
Yeah.
can mix and match and put the coaching with Dak or whatever. But there's 2 of those games that the defense did their job. There's 2 of those games where the defense didn't do their job.
yeah,
And if you want, you can put one game on solely the entire establishment of the team, however you want to look at it.
yeah,
But he has done, and he can do the numbers to win a Super Bowl. But when we go into a Super Bowl and our defense coach, decides, hey, we're going to change up the entire scheme that we've been playing and winning games with the entire season, we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to go in here and do this.
Yeah,
Look, I say this all the time: wins are a team category,
that's so
right?
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Playoffs are a team game. Your quarterback can do a lot during the regular season, but you have next week during the regular
Yeah,
season. During the playoffs, either you win or you
One
lose.
and done.
That's it. You're
Hmm.
done. That's it.
so
One and done. Until if you win, you move on. Guys,
Yeah.
here's something that a lot of people don't realize. I apologize for that.
no, you're good.
Do you know how many players are in the NFL Hall of Fame?
No, how many?
Probably worth about
So in the
400.
NFL Hall of Fame, you have 371 members of the Hall of Fame. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
how many of those are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks?
Mm,
A bunch
give
are
it up.
not Super
20.
Bowl. A bunch.
20.
That's a good one.
20. No, no. 20 quarterbacks that have won a Super Bowl. Five quarterbacks, or six, I'm sorry, might be six. I think it's six quarterbacks that did not win a Super Bowl are in the Hall of Fame. So in total, out of 371 players, only 26 of them are quarterbacks.
Mm,
Look,
yeah,
the numbers and the Super Bowls aren't what quarterbacks are played off of because if or paid off of. If they were, there'd be a whole lot more quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame than what there is.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
saying,
That's true.
quarterbacks
But
are paid for their regular season production.
yeah, and you just you and that you made a great point, Cliff, when you mentioned that it's a team sport, and I think we lacked a lot of that, yeah, in the previous years, man, especially in crunch time when it came to the playoff. Either our defense failed us or our offense. There was no balance. There was no balance. Even if our offense was struggling, basically kept the defense on the field majority of the time. If our defense was struggling, then our offense had to, play from behind. So you have to create the balance. And true enough, for this writer to put this out here, well, he's made 240, falls out of the top 10. But again, there's a lot to go with this. Yeah, Dak has to do his part. He has to do his part. But your offensive
100%.
coordinator has to put him in good situations. He has to be put in good situation in order to be successful. So that
Yeah.
that means that means that coordinator has to play to that quarterback's strengths. Don't have him doing something that he's not familiar with. So and I say that to say this. Last year we had a slot receiver, Cooks, playing out wide. He was a slot man. So basically all you had was CD and you had Jake Ferguson. That was it. So you didn't have
That's
an
good.
X receiver on the outside. So you what you're doing, you're handcuffing your quarterback. So again, Mike McCarthy had to do things that work to the strength of not only just the offense, but to Dak and throughout the whole team in general. So there has to be balance. So again, yeah, you're right, Cliff. That takes a little bit of the defensive side and the offensive side to balance and play a well balanced game. That's where I see it. Basically, I really do. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just something we'd like to put numbers on. Saying, well, hey, he making 240 million, he falls out the top 10. Well, who ranked the top 10?
I mean, when I mean when you look at like Clifford said, when you look at those Hall of Fame quarterbacks and whatnot, I can name two of them that's got gold jackets right now off the top of my head: Dan Marino and Drew Bledsoe.
Yep, yep. So true. Yep, so true.
Dan
Now,
Marino and Drew Bledsoe,
Drew got one
And
Super
listen,
Bowl.
but he was a backup,
he was a
not the
backup.
starter.
He didn't lead that.
He was a
He
backup.
didn't lead that team to the Super Bowl.
No,
Tom Brady did.
Tom Brady did.
Oh snap! Okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Well, there you
And
go.
then you can throw in Bennett Testaverde. He got a Super Bowl ring, but he was a backup for the Dallas Cowboys. That's three gold jackets right there.
Yeah. So that's a great point. That is a great point and very well said. I mean, it just like you say, it's the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys. So
And
that's what.
and you look at those three quarterbacks. They had injuries. They had some injuries, but they had big gun arms too. They'll fire your ass up. But at the end of the day, they did have injuries. But did they fall up out of those top tens and top five spots because of those injuries? No, no. They was the top of their craft. All three of them.
Yeah. So true. So true. Yeah, you're right
Well,
about
we
that.
also
So,
have to take into consideration the fact that John Elway didn't win his first Super Bowl until the last 2 years of his career.
mm,
Okay, that's for real. That's
yeah.
real talk.
Well,
He
I
sure
guess
did.
we as fans, I guess we just got such a high expectation for, well, not at just our players, but you know, just fans in general when they're looking at a certain individual. How is he getting paid all this money, but he's not doing that? Man, do we not? Do we not know how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl? That is a
Very.
there's a very challenging task to get to the Super Bowl. So, but with that being said, I want to go to this next topic real quick and see what you guys think. This is about it's brought to us by the Landry has. So it says the Cowboys' hopes of extending George Pickens just took a crushing blow. Now listen, y'all. This is what's being said. So I don't know if you're not aware, if you're aware or not, but it says a lot of Cowboy fans probably want Pickens to be more than a 1 year rental. But those hopes took a big hit on Monday afternoon when the New York Jets and Garrett Wilson agreed to terms on a lucrative extension. It's a 4 year, $130 million extension that includes a $90 million guarantee per ESPN Adam Schefter. It gives Wilson a whopping 32.5 million a year, which makes him the fourth highest paid receiver in terms of annual average value. So, Cliff, is this going to be a one hit wonder with us with George Pickens, or what are you thinking?
No, Wilson is considered their number one guy, right?
Right.
He's going to get number one money. He's got they're expected. He's a top number one supposed receiver. So absolutely, he's supposed to get the big contract. George Pickens is a number two receiver. Now he wants to be a number one receiver, but he's a number two receiver. So no, they're. I mean, you're looking at for Pickens maybe I don't know 4 year 76 million, 4 year 80 million, something like that. It's he's going to be a 17 million to $23 million wide receiver. I don't
Okay.
think you're going to see him get more than 23 million from anybody at the wide receiver position.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Football Jack, what do you think?
I
Is this a
think
crushing blow?
I don't think it's a crushing blow. I agree with Clifford, man. But also, there's another factor in the situation too. It's going to be a situation on how the organization handles the Michael Parsons situation because George Pickens and Michael Parsons has the same agent. So
Okay.
that's going to play a factor in the situation in what how it's going to get down to the get down on this situation too. Because if Cowboys handle the Michael Parsons situation as needed and how it's supposed to be, it could be a show me some love type of situation with George Pickens.
Yeah. So now, Cliff, you just mentioned that what you think that his range would be, but now what if this guy goes out there and shines, and I mean, he's in the media every week because he's putting up not big numbers but great numbers. What do you think that can kind of skyrocket his price? I mean,
I don't because we saw that with somebody else in Waddle over at Miami, right?
okay,
Number two guy
Yeah,
putting up
yeah.
great numbers. Listen, I like George Pickens. If he stays, that's fantastic. I really hopeful, because I think he's a really good back or receiver. Sorry, I think he's a top two a receiver in the league. I'm hoping that the chemistry that he builds with the offense with CeeDee Lamb that he's had for 3 years already, right? I'm hoping that regardless of his agent, you know, yes, Micah Person is looked at as a generational talent. So you have room to argue there for his money. George Pickens, he's not a generational talent, but I think he would be classified as by the end of the season. I'm thinking he has 1,200 receiving yards as a
mm,
number two. But I also think CeeDee Lamb's going to hit somewhere around 15 to 1,600 receiving yards this year.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, I think he's going to stay in Dallas for that lower contract, lower money, and that camaraderie that I think he's going to find here in Dallas that he has not found since maybe like high school. He's going to get those butterflies again of being around people that truly appreciate him, truly enjoy his play, somebody that they actually get along with. I think that's going to go a long way when it comes to contract wise.
Yeah.
So now, and Cliff, you just said that he's a number two receiver. Now, football junkie. Now that we're talking numbers, Dak Prescott was a fourth round draft pick. And I'm just saying, the man is getting paid like a first rounder. So what are we saying here, football junkie? So one man that's ranked number two is going to stay in this area, but this man fourth round can skyrocket. So it make sense, man. I'm trying to put this together. What do you think, football junkie?
But when you start comparing salaries and pays and stuff like that by position, there's no other top tier position to pay more than anything. It's the ultimate face of the team, of the organization, quarterback. Because as you were saying earlier, as Cliff was saying earlier, concerning football is a team sport. Both sides of the ball gets the wins and the losses together. But the pin and tail of the donkey move goes on the organization and the quarterback when it comes to wins and losses. Uh, it's always been like that. It's going to continue to be like that. But it is a team sport, 110%, most definitely so. But at the end of the day, when you look at the quarterback situation, it's the most detrimental position on the football field when it comes to contracts and salaries and whatnot. Because you can always swap and trade out a running back or receiver, linebacker, DB, so forth and so on to make your team mesh. With a quarterback, that's a unique scale right there. That's a unique mindset. That's a unique sense of urgency position that has to be fulfilled immediately because you just look at so many teams that have had quarterback issues and life has been resuscitated into them because they found the right quarterback. So that's just like we can go back and look at Joe Burrow with the Cincinnati Bengals. Look how dog tired, pitiful Cincinnati looked before Joe Burrow got there and breathed life into that organization. And he still got life blowing into that organization. Look over there at Buffalo. Look how the life has been the bloodline has been pumped into that organization because of the quarterback position. It wasn't because of running back. It wasn't because of receiver. It wasn't because of anybody on defense. It was because of the quarterback. So that right there, you cannot put a bread and link mask on any other position outside of quarterback when it comes to pay scale. Uh, but to go back to what George Pickens' situation probably would be, it probably Dallas will probably be in a situation similar to Cincinnati when it comes to paying another receiver of some similarity that they have. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel and I believe that they will make it happen because Jerry's gonna fall in love with what he's gonna have this season. He's gonna love it. He's gonna want to rock that baby as long as he can.
Yeah. So it is a possibility. I'm sure. And again, you put those things together, what you guys just mentioned. The great play, and he performed, and if he likes being here, I don't see him not staying here. So I mean that's good. That's good stuff, guys. I sure appreciate that, Megan. I try to throw some monkey wrenches in there for these guys. These guys always got to answer to everything. Give it up for the Clifford Turner and football junkie. Man, I'm about to start throwing some curveballs. These guys be ready, man. I just throw something out there, and these guys hit it out the park. So, man, that's great. So here we are. We're getting closer and closer to training camp. So man, I mean, I'm excited. See what they're gonna bring to the field. Shoot, I mean, what is your expectation, Cliff, for once this training camp starts?
Oh, 8 days away. 8 days away, baby. No, look, I think we saw a lot of progress and promise in OTAs. Um, just speaking on the linebackers that we have, the what 9 rookies that we have right now, I think between all the players that we picked up, the players that we re-signed,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this defense. Something
Mm.
as simple as this, and someone, and I actually got an argument with a guy about this. They are practicing down to not just the 2 minute warning, but calling their timeouts in that 2 minute warning for clock management.
Mm.
Yeah,
They are practicing the fundamentals of the game completely.
yeah,
I ain't never seen Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy ever once in a practice or OTAs or preseason actually practicing how they're going to call their timeouts when there's clock management needed,
yeah,
how the team's going to get to the ball after a play's ended and they didn't get out of bounds and they're out of timeouts. These are fundamentals that these guys are
mm,
actually bringing back to the game that I think has been needed for
yeah,
quite some time. It's something that Jimmy Johnson preached about. It's the
Yeah.
fundamentals, it's the small things that you practice and you preach and you do on that field that creates winners.
Hmm.
I like, I do. I like what I see so far. Um, we got to worry about healthy. We got to worry about healthy on two players because I think they've already cleared Dak, if I'm not mistaken, to go ahead and play full practice. We still have to worry about Diggs. We still have to worry about Overshown. Those two guys are going to be key essential pieces to the defense, I believe, this year to get us healthy, stopping the run, and having a secondary that's going to perform like we did 3 years ago with our secondary.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
Yeah.
know, I think I am more excited about seeing this front offensive line. We have a revamped offensive line, pretty much. We had with Booker, and we seeing BB going into his second season, which he did a damn good job last season for his first year as a center. Hoping to see Tyler Guyton step up and become the tackle that we want to see him become. And then we still have the veteran, which is Tyler Smith, that's still sitting there, and then we got Terrence Steele on the other side. So I'm excited to see what this offensive line is going to look like. What type of run, what kind of scheme we're going to use, as far as when it comes to the running game, to the passing game. So I think that's my biggest uh, thing I want to see is what this offensive line look like. Football junkie, what do you think? What are you looking forward to see when this camp starts?
Man, I'm just looking forward to getting my popcorn and sit in front of the TV just to go bonkers to see what the Cowboys gonna do, how they're gonna attack folks, how everybody gonna have to wait at least 3 weeks together for real live game film on the Cowboys just to be able to address
That's
what they
it.
just do to folks, man. Because
That's it.
me personally, I really feel like the Cowboys need to have closed practices in Oxnard. I really feel like they need to just shut everything down. Just the minimum fans that's what I'm saying coming in, all these other cameras and stuff like that, shut it down. Let's just go to work. Let's go ahead and turn
Yeah,
this some weird science project up in this situation.
yeah,
For
and
real.
I said this, man. Come preseason, I'm using 5 plays. 5 plays throughout the preseason, and I'm taking the 5 and I'm flipping it. That's 10 plays that we're going to use. I don't care if we win, lose, or tie in preseason. I don't care. I want to go September 4th when we go to Philadelphia as an element of surprise.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Yeah.
so if that means we just going to use our preseason and allow our starters to get some reps, they need the reps. But it doesn't matter if we win or lose. But use it as an evaluation tool to know who you're going to have on this team, and let's kick off September 4th up there in Philadelphia. That's what that's my thing is the element of
Yes,
surprise,
sir.
guys. Yeah,
Elemental surprise. But I
yeah,
do
man.
like what Clifford said, though, man. It's all about situational coaching. The situation. It's the situation. We got to pick our poison on every situation. Be prepared to attack our opponent at all costs. Put them in adverse situations
Yeah.
amongst the situation.
Yeah. And that's what he said. That's what the thing is. He says everything is competition and everything is being done under pressure, being able to play under pressure. So he's putting them in those situations. And what that does, it just increases your IQ. That's what I
Hmm.
like. And again, we know that this is Brian Schottenheimer's first shot at being a head coach. But it's just something of how what we're seeing, and I think everybody's buying into it. What he's bringing to the field. So it's gonna be something to see, guys.
It's
I'm
Marty
really
Ball 2.0.
say that again.
Marty Ball 2.0.
All 2.0. Give it up. You so right.
But you know what? I'm gonna put this out here, right here. You heard it on the huddle, right here. He's trying to do what his dad didn't do. Win a Super Bowl,
Mm,
baby.
yeah, yeah. And he's been up under the he's been up under the leadership of his dad. What since he was a knee high to a duck's butt. So
Long
yeah,
time.
Yeah. But hey, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. So, hey,
Heck
again,
yeah.
guys, thank y'all, man, for stopping through, man, and hanging out with us tonight. And we thank y'all. Do us a favor before you leave here. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell so you will be notified when the next video is posted. And with that being said, like we always say, continue to stay safe and be blessed. We're out. Deuces.
Yeah.